in between time got over. So the go to statement is also used in order to change the sequential execution of the program. So in this chapter, we were studying all those statements which can change the sequential execution of the program, right? Right from the beginning, like if you are using the if statement, there are different types of if statements, right? Simple if else, then if else if, that is else if ladder, and then nested if, right? And after that we saw the switch case, which is a default or a built-in decision making statement. Based on the decision we will divert. It's not according to the sequential order. If it is false, we will divert, otherwise it will go like that, sequential order. So all these, we were checking with a particular condition. So we were telling it as decision making based on a condition. It will decide whether it has to take a true path or a false path. Now, go to statement is a statement which will be used the same thing, for the sequential, in order to change the sequential execution of the program. So it will divert the execution, but here it is an unconditional jump. That you have to keep it in mind. Unconditional jump. We are not checking any condition. We are just changing the sequential order. So it will be among all the other statements, only this go to label, go to label and then the label. This will be having performing an unconditional jump. It is not checking any condition. We are not using any relational operator or a relational expression to check a particular condition. We are just labeling it, and then the control, program control from control will be jumping from this point to the labeled statement. So it may skip few lines in between. So we will see some examples for that. You can have two types of jumps. One is known as a forward jump. It will be like go to will be first, go to and the label name, and then after few lines we will be mentioning the label. So as soon as go to is reached, it will be jumping towards the label position. Got it. And this is second one is backward jump, in which label will be given first. Label will be given first, then it will execute the remaining like statements what we have mentioned over here. This statement also, whatever under the label, what all statements are there, it will be executing. When it reaches go to the label name, it will jump from here to the position where the label is mentioned. So it will be like a backward jump. This will be like a forward jump. Whenever it is towards here, like whenever it finds a label, it will skip few lines and then it will make a forward jump. While here, when the go to is mentioned after the label, it will be performing a backward jump. Now, the label is a valid C variable. So when we are naming a variable, we have studied some convention, right? Like it has to be started with with an alphabet, and you can have a mix of alphabet and numbers, and you can have underscore also among these special characters. All those rules which are used for naming a variable is applicable for naming the go-to label. Got it? This label can also be the same as the variable name. So it is an identifier name which the user is giving. Got it? And the go-to statement can transfer the control. What are the users? To transfer the control to any place in the program unconditionally. That is the importance of this. Go to will be performing an unconditional jump. It is useful to provide branching within a loop. Sorry, it is used to provide a branching inside the loop. So we can have transfer of the control, or we can, if you want to have a branching within a loop. So loop we are studying in the next chapter. We have certain looping statements. In this chapter we studied only branching statements. In the next chapter we will be studying about the looping statements. So in that looping statements, using while, do while, for, loop, in that if you want to have a branching, you can do with the go to label. So in this chapter also, the other chapter also, we will be seeing this go to statements. It is useful for to exit from a deeply nested loop. So in when we study the loops, we can understand that in order to exit from a particular loop, which may work without any like indefinite loop if it is becoming. If you want to exit from the loop, we can use this go to label. When error occurs, that time, like while running the program, suppose if you didn't give the condition for exit properly, then it may exist in a, or it may lead to a infinite loop. So in order to exit from that, you can use this go to statements. So the go to statements, it will be a breaking the normal. What is the normal execution? Sequential execution, right? It will be executing line by line. In order to break the sequential execution, we are using go to statements. It is also used to transfer the control out of the loop when certain conditions are satisfied. So you are not mentioning the condition in bracket, but in between, suppose you can use another if statement, and then you can give go to label. So based on the condition which is mentioned in the if condition, you can perform a jump. But as such, go to does not have any condition to be checked. Is it clear? You can use other decision making statements, and after that you can check with the go to. But go to itself is a statement which does not make use of any condition. It makes an unconditional jump. So either it can perform a backward jump or a forward jump. So in backward jump, the label is before the statement go to label, and a loop will be formed. So in using go to, as I told you, can it's actually a combination of branching and looping statement. If you want to make it as a looping statement, a set of statements to be repeated many times, you can do it using a backward jump. Forward jump, a label is placed after the go to label, and some statements will be skipped up. So this becomes like when we are using a forward jump, it becomes like a branching statement. That means after the go to, we will not be performing sequentially the statements which are mentioned below the go to label. When we perform forward jump, it will be just like our decision making statements, right? It will skip few lines, and it will it will change the sequential execution of the program. When we perform backward jump, it will be acting like as a loop. So in the next chapter, we are studying loop. In that also, we are having go to statement. Got it? So we will be performing, when we are performing backward jump, it is just like a looping statement. And when we are performing a forward jump, it will be acting like a decision making statement, but it is an unconditional jump. So here is an example. So tell me, all are there now? Nidhin is absent today. So here, what is the name of the label? What's the name of the label? Suhail, can you answer me? Suhail, you're all switching on and leaving, I feel. Mohammed Suhail.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me, what is the name of the label? What is the name of the label in this program? Why this much delay? If you are listening, you will understand. Miss Mia.
Read. Go to, ma'am.
Go to. What is the topic what we are studying now?
Go to statements.
Go to statement. So what is the label name?
Go to.
Go to is the label name. What are the two things which we need for a go to statement? You're not listening, I know. So here go to followed by a label, right? So label name is read. So here we have mentioned the go to read twice. And what is the name of the label over here? Name of the label is read. Mohammed.
Read.
So the read label we have given over here, and we are giving the go to statement with the name of the label. So whenever it encounters the name of the or a go to statement, the name of the label, if it is given as read, it should go back to this statement. Got it? So it will be, so here it is a, what type of jump it is? We are having, who is there? Pavan.
Backward jump, ma'am.
Backward jump. This will be a backward jump. Again, this also will be a backward jump, right?
Backward jump.
Now, so here, here you can, I forgot to tell about the label syntax. No, it should be ending with a colon, and all other statements, including the go to label, will be ending with a semicolon. Usually, all lines will be ending with a semicolon, but only for label. You know, in switch case also we saw case labels are ending with a colon, right? Likewise, here also this go to label is ending with a semicolon, but go to statement is ending with a semicolon. Go to label is ending with a colon, but in this statement, no, go to label will be ending with a semicolon. The label alone will be having a colon. So here when you are writing also, you should be careful. So actually this is a second statement. If I put like this, you will put your column for if. So, you know, if statement is not having any semicolon. We studied if statements, right? If, simple if, nested if, in all the if statements, we have seen that we should not end a decision making statement with a semicolon, right? All other executable lines should be ending with a semicolon. What are the executable lines in this? Printf, scanf, and then this go to read, x equal to square root of y, printf that line, no, it's ending with a semicolon. Go to read, everything is ending with a semicolon, but the labels, you know, where is the label now? Here only read is a label, so the read should be ending with a colon. Is it clear? So this program I'll be asking you to execute. So one problem I will execute and show you. So what is the sequence of execution of the program? Tell me. Which line will be executed after the local declaration of integer variable y and x? Mamata? Which line will be executed? After this line, it will be executing which line? It will just move to read, but nothing is there, no? Label alone is there. So it will move to the next printf. Enter a number. So it will be, here I have just shown the output screen. Enter a number, we will be entering 9. So using scanf, next line is scanf. So it will be accepting %d ampersand y. So it is an integer number, right? So whatever number we are entering over here, it will be accepted in the variable called y. So we are giving ampersand y. So the address of the ampersand is a address operator, right? So at the address address of the location we have given for y. Whenever we are declaring what is happening, integer y in the memory, we are allocating a space, and that address of the location will be accessible using the ampersand operator. So when we declare integer variable, we are allocating two different memory locations, right? We are allocating two different memory locations. One is labeled as x and the other is labeled as y. So now this location is named as x and y, but each one, no, it will be having some address, a numerical address will be there. And in order to access that numerical address, we are using the ampersand symbol. So when you use scanf, we will be passing the address of the variable as a second argument. If y is less than 0, so we already accepted the value 9, and so we are saving it in memory at the address location mentioned by ampersand y. If y is less than 0, what is our value of y? Value of y, you can type it in the chat box. Value of y. When I'm asking you, type it fast, because then only that, otherwise if I ask, nobody will answer. Okay, so value of y will be
-1, 2.
so 9 is less than 9 is less than 0. So we will be performing, we'll be going to the next line. 9, sorry, 1. If 9 is less than, whether 9 is less than 0?
No.
No, then what will happen?
Square root of y.
So it is not performing go to read. It will be going to next line execute. So whatever, so if statements we have studied, whatever we mentioned after the if statement without any bracket also, if you give, it will be performing this line, right? So after if this condition mentioned is true means it will be performing go to read. If this condition is false means this will not be executed, right? If 9 is less than 0, then it will perform go to read. All are listening, right? As 9 is not less than 0, skip this line and it will move to the next line, that is x equal to square root of y. What is square root of y? Square root of 9.
3.
Right? Square root of 9.
3.
So we will be getting the value 3 and it will be assigned to the variable x. Now it will be performing the next or executing the next line print of square root of percentage d is percentage d. So tell me what will be the value, you type in the chat box, what will be the value replacing this first percentage d and what will be the value replacing the second percentage d. Square root of dash is dash. So what will happen now? Square root of okay, square root of 9 is 3. And then it will go to the next line, that is go to read. One more thing I wanted to ask, if we are using that, what is this SQRT? SQRT is a
Square root.
What should be the
Mathematical function.
Math dot.
math dot dash, it should be the header file. And then if after printing the statement, where it will be going? After print of statement, it will be moving to the statement go to read. So when it encounters a go to read without any decision here, if y is less than 0, we are using go to read. Here we are not giving any if statement, so it will go to this go to read, right? So the place where we have labeled as read, it will be here. No, it will be moving to this location, that is read. Again, it will start execution of the line. Start executing from this line. After read, whatever lines are mentioned, printf, enter a number, scanf, and then if we enter, if I enter any number lesser than 0, so if I am giving some decimal value or if I am giving a negative value, what will happen? What will happen if I am entering a
it will go to read.
It will again go to read. So it will jump from here. So if I'm giving 9 or any number greater than 9, it will be skipping go to read. It will perform the square root of this of the value which we have entered, and then it will move to the next line and again go to read. So it will be an infinite loop. Even if we give a value lesser than 0, and even after giving a number which is greater than 0, and if we are able to find the square root, those values, this loop will be continuously executing. How to give a condition in order to exit from the loop? You can give an exit condition, otherwise what will happen? Whatever number you enter, it will be infinite loop. Got it? I'll run it and show. So this program you can try. And in order to come out of this, you can give one more condition. If y is equal to 0, then exit. That you can give. So exit is another function which if you want to give, if you are giving exit, EXIT, I'll show you in the program. It will be coming out of any of the loop, or if you want to completely stop the running of the program, you can just mention exit. So this, if you want, you can just try, go to anyway, they are like we rarely use it in the program and all. It is not a structured way of programming. So if you want, you can just use it. I'll just show some of the programs now, which I don't remember which was, okay. Some of you had executed yesterday's programs, this and all you have done, I think, largest number. Like largest of 3, I don't know whether you have executed using the conditional operator. If you are using 3 alphabets, like A, B, and C for accepting the number, you can use the ask the user to enter the number also. Otherwise, we are just giving as a constant value here, A equal to 3, B equal to 5, and C equal to 8. And we are declaring a variable called largest also, that is of type integer. This one now for the conditional operator. Okay. So this some of you I think you have done with odd and even. No, if this is like if you are checking if A is greater than B, if A is greater than B, what we are giving in the bracket, and then followed by a question mark. If this condition is true, which will be executed? Can anyone tell? If this condition is true, which part will be executed? This is for the condition operator. In between I took it. If this condition is true, which part will be executed? It will be executing this part. If this condition is false, it will be executing this part. So again, in this part, we have given one more conditional statement. If A is greater than C, if A is greater than C, again for the true condition, we have given A, and if for the false condition, we have given C. So this, if you want to try, you can try, otherwise you can leave it. This, if you are trying, then you will understand the concept also. One second, let me check for go to label. Okay, so all are able to see now? All are there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that same program I have given over here. So the label, I have given as read, and here I'll bring it down. So this again, see how the lines will be executed. First, it will be reading this label. No, we will not. If you read also, it will execute the next line, because whatever after read is given, it will be executed, right? So after read, it will be performing printf. Then it will be asking the user to enter the number. Then scanf, it will be accepting the variable y. And now in the next line, it will be checking whether y is equal to 0. If you enter a number as 0, this I gave as an exit condition, because otherwise it will become an infinite loop. These two lines, I just gave as an exit condition. Okay. So if y is equal to 0, we are exiting from the program. Got it? So if you are running without these two lines, I'll show you how it is running. If you are running without these two lines, it will become an infinite loop. What is these two lines? I didn't tell about this commenting. If you want to comment only one line, you can use this slash also. This double slash, if you use, it will be, if you want to comment one line alone, you can use double slash in the beginning. What is the other commenting, what we have studied? That is mainly used for commenting a pair of lines or more than one line. If you just start with the slash and an asterisk and with, so the whole para will be getting commented. Got it? So if you want to have more than one line to be commented, we will be using this one. Okay. So this will be the starting of the comment, and this will be the ending of the comment. If you want to comment only one line, then it is better to use this double slash alone. So this line alone, if you want to comment, you can use double slash. So this line alone, if you want to comment, you can use double slash. Now, these two lines are commented. When you are running, compiler will be skipping these two lines. Okay. So now, if you are writing without these two lines, what will happen? It will go to this line. If y is less than 0, then go to read. So if you are entering any number less than 0, it will again go to read. Then if you are if it is not less than 0, in our case, if we enter 9, it will be going to this line where it will perform the square root of I. We know we entered 9 and we got the square root as 3. Then it will be going to this line printf. But here it will be 9, square root of 9 will be 3, and again it will move to go to read. So whenever we encounters the go to statement, it will come back to this line. Okay. So we are entering a number 9. So it is so in order to, so in the previous execution and all, we after one run, it will go back to the program, right? After running once, it will go back to the program. Here you can see even after the execution of the first number, we found the square root of the number 9. Again, it is asking for the second number to be entered, so we can find the square root of the second number. So this will be, if you want to perform some of the lab programs, we will be making it in a while loop. Likewise, if you want to do the same effect, you can use the goToRead. Usually we will not be using goTo, but in order to, in case if you want to use in some conditional jump, you can use the goTo statement. So so you see, if you are entering this, no, this is not because if you are entering, I just entered 0.1, that's why it is. If you are giving any value less than 0 also, it will be performing one more read. So in order to exit from that, what we have to do is, it will be keeping on asking for the next program and next entry. So in order to avoid that, you can always use a if condition to check whether it is equal to 0. So if you give an equal to 0, it will be coming out of the loop. Okay. So any other program you want me to show it in the so in order to make the program to come out, you can give this condition. If y equal to 0, then you can exit from the loop. Otherwise, it will keep on asking. So if I'm entering 9, it will be giving 3. If I'm entering 25, it will be giving. If I'm entering 36, like this, it will keep on going. If you enter 0, then it will come out of the program. For that, we are keeping if y equal to 0, exit. Okay. So that's it. And actually in this chapter, only this much is there. And I have kept a few conditions. Oh, the previous screen that is still running. Okay, so here in order to read or execute other lab programs, I have just kept a few of the slides, which is actually used for getting input.
Ma'am,
Yes.
previous slide, ma'am. One more. That was yes, sir.
So here,
Here, if
what you are talking?
y is less than 0, y is less than 0,
Yeah.
then square root of x is equal to square root of y now, or goToRead.
Y is less than 0, it will move to goToRead.
Y is greater than 0, then x
Then
is
it
equal
will
to
move
square
to,
root of y.
it will skip this goTo statement. Okay.
Okay.
You are writing or? So only this line, this goToRead, it will be like it is coming under the statement of if statement for this decision making. If y is less than 0, it will be true, means it will execute this goToRead. Otherwise, it will not perform this line, or it will skip this line and it move towards this line, go to x equal to square root of y. Is it clear? This program as such, if you type, it will become an infinite loop. If you want to exit from this, Pavan.
We want to, yes, ma'am.
If you want to
here enter a number, we will give 9, then we will find the square root, that is 3.
Yeah,
if you want to do the reverse, ma'am, if you want to enter 3.
1 second. If you are, I am just giving here, actually this program was with a float number and all. I just I'm restricting only the entry of the numbers which are having square root. If you enter any other number like which is not having any square root, then it will be showing decimal values and all. So I am just running and showing only with the integer numbers. Okay, not integer number, those numbers which are having square root. I replaced this. It was actually this program now was with the float, and then it will be like decimal numbers and all. It will be coming. Then here I had given float %f and all. Now for the time being, for the running of the program, enter only numbers which are having square root. And this program is mainly to understand the concept of go to and label. Understood? So we are entering only the numbers which
Understood
are.
that one. But
Pavan?
what I'm asking is, if we enter number 3 and if we want to find that square of 3 is 9, like
Square of
here
3.
first we'll enter.
You want to write a program which will find the square.
Yeah, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So find the square of a number.
For that,
What will be the changes here, ma'am?
you have to use, instead of square root function, we have to use power. You can raise the power actually square is 2 raised to 2, right? So you
Okay.
have to use another max function called power. So another program is there.
And
Used that is coming under the math.h header file only. So instead of square root, we are finding square, right? That is power of.
in that -3, if we enter the number also, that square is 9, and +3, if we enter also, the square is 9. So how to write that statement, ma'am? Like even if we enter the negative number, the square is positive itself.
That we need not check then. For square, why we have to check whether it is less than 0 and all. So you can avoid this line if you want to just, that is entirely different thing. No, this is square root. We are not finding the square root of numbers which are less than 0. You can accordingly change that. No, if you want to find the square of a negative number, you need not check this condition if it is less than 0 and all.
Okay.
This program is not so logical. No, I'm just giving to show where it will be jumping. Any other case, no, if you want to give any statement, you can think of another example where we can have it. What all programs we had entered, in order to find whether a number is odd or even, in that also you can use this go to read and label. Got it? In order to make a loop, that's it. This is not a program which you can test and make it see whether it is running properly for all the input, because I gave integer y and x. If you are you are accepting in the variable x the square root of y. If you are entering numbers which are having square root only, it will be running properly. Understood, Pavan?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
This will not run if I enter a number 3. So it will not have a square root of 3 is not there, right? It is a decimal number only, no? So it will not come properly. I've just showed in order to have a loop, we can use a go to statement.
Yes,
do the same thing for the odd and even program. Instead of this, you can use the odd and even program and see how it is working, and give one exit condition also. For odd and even, no, if you want to give an exit condition, if same thing, if y equal to 0, then exit, like that. If you want to give, you can give. Is it clear? Over. So now we are moving on to the reading statements and so what are the functions which we are using in order to interact with a computer, interact with a system or a program? What are the two functions which we have studied? Not to get input, to get an input and to show the output onto the display, printf and scanf, right? We will study a few more functions which we can use for getting an input and printing an output onto the display. So here in the first one, first 3 we are using to get an input from the user, which is our standard input device, keyboard, right? So when we are we wrote all the programs mostly using scanf and printf. So we have studied the format of scanf. It will be having 2 arguments. First will be the format specifier. Second will be the name of the variable. Here address is the name of the variable which is declared as a character array. Now, what is the problem with scanf? You have tried also, no? When we try to give a space, a blank space, then it will be thinking scanf will be taking it as a termination, or it will be taking as an end of the string. That is a drawback of using scanf. So you cannot end a complete string using a scanf. whenever we give a space in between, it will be taken as the end of the string. So when we try to enter your name with the first name and second name, when we encounter a space, it will be taking only the first string what we have entered. So in this case, New York with space, it will be taking only the even if you have given 10 space for the for the value or for the character array, it will be taking only new. And when it encounters a space, it will be going to the next input. So now instead of that, if we are using, so we have two more input functions which you can use. One is get character. The third one will be is the get s. Get s is used to accept a string even if you are giving a space in between. Got it? So for this get s, which will accept a string with the space. It will be taking the new line or an enter. Unless you enter an enter, it will be taking all the spaces also. It will be taking into the variable name. So if you enter your name, suppose I enter Benita Jason, even after the space after Benita, it will be taking. So this is the like when compared to scanf, if you want to get a full string, it's better to use getters. Got it? So this getters is also there in std